Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
You're just in time for a great day of encouragement for those who need it most. And if that's you, call in. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. My name is Brian Perez, and this is New Life Live. We can discuss rejection today, or how to understand and love someone who's been diagnosed as bipolar. We're only limited by the clock and the number of phone lines we have, but trust me, we have several phone lines, and we're in the studio for 2 hours today. Plenty of time. 1-800-229-3000. Hey, clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard, how are you today?
Hey, Brian Perez, I'm good.
Nice to see you on a Monday.
Yes, I know.
And licensed marriage and family therapist Marc Cameron. Trust you're doing well too.
I am, thank you.
Great. What's on your mind to start us off?
All right, today I want to talk about why so many people struggle to let go of a failing romantic relationship, even when they know it's unhealthy. And that's because many people fall in love with the feeling of being in love. Now, recently I watched a TV show of people, mainly women, who became involved with partners who manipulated them into giving away thousands of dollars. Now, what struck me wasn't just the scope of the betrayal, but how quickly these women bonded with the manipulator. They all said things like, right from the first day, I've never felt this kind of connection before. I felt like I'd met my soulmate. They seemed like the perfect match for me. Now, I'm not blaming these victims for the manipulation or the financial abuse. But what I do want to pose is, who duped who on that first date? Yes, the manipulator tricked them with lies and charm, but also, did they not ask deeper questions, verify information? Did they rush intimacy? Now, did the person really appear perfect for them, or did they have this idea of a perfect person in their mind already before they got into a relationship? Now, letting go of a failing romantic relationship is more complicated. And here's a few reasons why. One, emotional investment. So there's something called the sunk cost fallacy. And that's when you feel like you've invested so much into something, time, effort, memories, it becomes hard to let go because you think, well, surely I got to get something out of it. And so people who get stuck with this, they say things like, oh, but we've been through so much together. Then there's the fear of being alone. So even a painful relationship can feel better than just being alone by yourself. And people often will say things like, well, I think I'm just too old to start over, or what if I never find love again? And then thirdly, there's attachment and sexual bonding. When you get into a relationship with someone before you've done the deep work of knowing whether they're safe for you, you can get stuck. Our brains and our bodies, we're wired to attach to a partner, especially when sex is involved. Our brains release dopamine, which is a neurochemical that drives reward and motivation, oxytocin, which is a bonding chemical, and vasopressin, which plays a role in mate guarding. So, when you try and break up with someone, it can feel like you are going into a withdrawal cycle, and then you get that craving to move back toward them again. So if you're stuck in a bad relationship, I want you to start to ask yourself this question: is it really love, or is it fear of letting go of this relationship? 1 John 4:18 says, perfect love casts out fear. Now, you can't choose to stay in a relationship if you're too fearful to leave it. So it's totally normal to grieve the loss of a relationship, even a toxic relationship, because that's just how grief works. But it's also healthy to release something that's no longer good for you. So walking away from a bad relationship isn't walking away from love. It's walking toward truth, clarity, and healing.
I love that, Mark. So good. Yeah, we have so many fears in relationships and staying together, right? And I know so many women that have financial fears, right? I'm not going to be okay. So having someone there, like you said, the known, even when it's not good, sometimes feels better than the unknown. So we all need to take a risk.
And grieving the loss of a toxic relationship, you would think, no, you'd be happy that it's done, but maybe not. We'll be back on New Life Live.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Dallas, Texas, November 7th through the 9th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We hope you never miss an episode of New Life Live, but you will not want to miss tomorrow's for sure. We're going to be discussing the important topic of how people of faith can help solve the mental health crisis. Social researcher Shaunti Feldhahn and psychologist Dr. James Sells will be joining us for this conversation, so be sure to tune in. 1-800-229-3000 is our number, and let's go to the phones. Here is Barbara from Tucson, Arizona. Says here, Barbara, that a friend told you about New Life Live. Well, thank your friend on our behalf, would you? And thank you for calling in.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, what's going on? How can we help you?
Well, I'll just go from the beginning. I was at 18 with a friend, and we got to know each other for 3 years, and then we were really young, and I was with him, and then all of a sudden he left, and I didn't hear from him, so I went through, wanted to kill myself, and then I went through therapy, and then he writes me, he got into the Navy, and he wanted to go back, and I said no, and then we kind of ended it, and then, I don't know why, I'm 66, and maybe 4 months ago, I decided to look him up in social media, and I found him. So we started talking for a couple of months, and it first went that we wanted to be friends, and he said, oh, yeah, sure. And then it was, just the whole thing of him giving me everything I wanted to hear, soulmates and blah, blah, blah. But he's taking care of his dad, so I was real understanding, of course, that he had limited time, but I wanted more, and he could never make time for my more. So and he sent me flowers and all kinds. We just were back and forth. So just like a couple of weeks ago, I said, because he got COVID, and I thought, oh gosh, maybe I'll just take a plane up to visit you, and I really don't care if I don't really get sick. And so I went up. I was going to go up there, and he got real quiet, and then I just kind of. And then we hung up because he got real quiet, and then we hung up, and then I wrote him a text back saying, maybe I sound really stupid, and because I don't feel like you feel like I feel, and then so I have anxiety, so I started freaking out. Then I called him up. No, he called me, and then we were talking, and he said, I'm freaking out. I feel like, and you don't care, and he goes, well, no, I don't. And he says, and I think that I need you to stop texting me and calling me. I don't care like you care.
So what's your main question for us today, Barbara?
Well, I'm really having a problem dealing with rejection.
Yeah.
Because he blocked me, and then I blocked him, and I'm really having a hard time just dealing with it, thinking I'm not good enough, which I do have a lot to offer. I don't know, I'm just feeling like.
Well, and Barbara, at 66, what made you reach out to him again?
I don't know.
In terms of where you're at in life.
I don't know. I just kept on thinking of him. Well, it's been a long time that I was thinking of him, and I just decided, and he was fine with that. We were talking, and.
Have you been in any other relationships in the last 50 years?
But it's been 40 years, at least.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fine with it.
And we do often especially if maybe, we've lived our life and we're at a place where things haven't gone exactly the way we had hoped. It's really common to look back and idealize those young loves, right? The young love, our first loves. And I've heard this a lot from older people. They're just feeling like life is routine, or they're in a rut. Maybe they don't have someone, and I don't know if you have had someone or not.
Well, I've been married, and I've been married and divorced, and then we talked about it. He's been married because he's been in the Navy twice and divorced, and so we thought, this is good. And so I just probably heard everything I wanted to hear, and it went well for a while. And then when I had an anxiety attack, thinking, whoa, you're not, I felt like I was thinking he didn't really, I was feeling it, but I was like, oh, wow. But he's saying everything I wanted to hear, so I kind of got really sucked into it. And then
Barbara, did you listen to my open?
Yes, I did.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's so godlike that, you had called in. You were already waiting on the phone before I even gave that open, and I gave that not knowing that you were calling in with this question here. But I really think that that's really what's happened with you here. I mean, as Jill is saying, sometimes, it's common that, when we can get to a place in life when relationships have felt unfulfilling, that we look back and we romanticize. And with the emergence of social media over the last 10 or 15 years, it's actually made it possible for us to go back and reach out and find people. And this is actually really common. What you're describing is that people go back and they look people up and they find out, oh, you're in a similar situation as me. It hasn't worked out for you romantically. Why don't we try it again? Because it felt so good when we were young. And so what you do is you pull up all of those old feelings. But if you don't do the hard work of figuring out why your relationships failed before, then you end up rushing intimacy and getting stuck back into the same cycle. And I hear a lot of fear going on inside of you, and that's kind of how I ended my open here, is that you can't have fear and love at the same time. One of them is going to conquer the other.
Well, and let me just interject, Barbara, when you said he said all the right things, I think sometimes we hear things and we project onto that what our own meaning, and they may mean actually something different. So we kind of fill in the blanks where maybe there's a pause, and we fill it in to maybe even mean something more than it means.
Yeah, and then this goes to what you just said before we went to the break here, and I think this is appropriate for you, Barbara. Why is it hard to break, why do we grieve the end of a bad relationship? And Brian posed this great question, and I think this is where you're at here, is because grief occurs whenever we have a loss. It doesn't differentiate between whether the relationship was good or whether it was bad for us. It's the mechanism that we go through whenever we have a loss. And so you're in this grief cycle right now, and the first part of grief is denial, and then it's bargaining, and I think that's kind of where you're at. I hear that panicky bargaining part of like, well, why doesn't he want to know me? Well, I'm a good person. And I think that there is a lot of fear, and there is a lot of anxiety. Do you have a therapist that you go to regularly? That's what I would recommend.
And I even wonder how much of this is also tied into your divorce and how you have done it with having a marriage end and how that has felt, because that's usually something that people really have to process. It's hurtful. Divorce is a extremely difficult
and
thing
even
to go
childhood
through.
Injuries follow us. I'm hearing you talk about rejection here, Barbara. Did you feel rejection in childhood?
Yes, I did. I'm blind from my right eye, and I was made fun of a lot in school. But my parents, they had a lot of money, so they showered me with everything I needed. But I did feel like, I guess I went through life thinking that I didn't have a lot of love, but I had everything I wanted. And I went through life thinking maybe I was, and then I got into an abusive relationship, and I stayed in it because I was a believer, and back and forth, and so then we ended up getting divorced, and then so
so I think getting into personal therapy and starting just from the beginning here, working on that where the rejection wound came from. You said you got the physical stuff, but maybe you didn't get enough emotional connection, and maybe it's not necessarily it was from your parents, but your peers being at school and things like that. And so I think working on that wound and then working your way forward to, okay, how did that impact me and the partner that I chose in my marriage? And then what rejection wounds did I play out in there? And I think as you start to learn to make sense of that and you can heal, you'll recognize when those old feelings come up again, and you'll be able to put a story to the feelings in the present. And that will help you make a better decision.
And Barbara, the panic that you feel, I think, comes from the young girl, that it's like, oh no, not again. Not again. I thought I finally found it. Like the young girl who's constantly looking for love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry you're going through this. It is really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
are you open to therapy, Barbara? Or?
Yes, I am, but I'm kind of like on as far as money. I know it costs a lot, and I'm really kind of strapped on money. I mean, I'm on a limited income. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
so yeah, there.
Well, you know what? There's still a lot of people who are still in training to get their licenses, and sometimes you can find someone, they might not have as much experience as someone else, but at least it's a start, and that person sits under the supervision of a licensed person who does have experience, and so that might be a good start for you.
Any recommendations from the newlife.com store that you would send to Barbara? I was thinking Living Strong, Finishing Well might be a good one for her. So we'll send that to you, Barbara. Thanks for calling in today here on New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. And now here is Janelle in Toledo, Ohio. Welcome, Janelle, to New Life Live.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. How can we help you today?
Well, so I caught about 5 minutes of your program on Friday, and I did get the gist of the program, and that's why I'm calling. We, as my family, found out about 5 years ago that my brother had been molesting his daughter. Yeah, it was, obviously that's it's terrible. It's unspeakable. But I am the one who called the police on my brother, which was the hardest phone call I ever made in my life.
Yeah.
But my niece, when she was confronted, I live in Ohio, and she was confronted about it in New Mexico. That's where they live. And she denied it, and so did her mother. So, clearly there's nothing more I can do about it, but I was listening, just of the few things that I was listening to with Jill. I'm just kind of wondering where my niece is at mentally, emotionally. She's 18 now. We found out when she was 13 that she had been molested since she was like 5.
And how did you find out, Janelle?
She told me.
Okay.
Yeah, she told me. We were really close at that time. She came to my house, and she had, so she was what, like 13, 14. She had black makeup like smeared down her face. She was wearing black all the time. Her hair was cropped really short, kept really, really short. So, I just asked her how she was, how school was, and she said, well, I have something. She said, well, I want to tell you something, but if I do, I'll get in trouble. And I'm like, you can tell me anything you want to tell me.
Yeah.
And then, so we talked a little, and she said it again, well, I want to tell you something, but I can't because I'll get in trouble. And I said, look, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me. I did tell her that I was not going to repeat it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have said that because I had to, So, yeah, she told me that her dad had been molesting her since she was, she said 6. I really believe it was like 4.
Okay. What would you guys say to
Wow.
Janelle?
So what's your question for us here, Janelle? Because I'm hearing you tried to do the right thing and then they denied it.
Right. My question is, you know, how is she doing now? Because she puts on an air of, you know, that she's fine, that her and her dad are fine. You know, she obviously sees him. He doesn't live with them anymore, but they see him. She sees him all the time. I just, you know, mentally, emotionally, I don't know what is going on with her, if you could answer that, and what to expect in the future with this kind of outcome.
And you're still in touch with her, is that correct?
Not much. No, she really doesn't talk with me much.
All right, we've got to go to break, Janelle, so stay on the phone and we'll continue talking to you and to everyone else who's calling in today to 1-800-229-3000. We're going to be in the studio for 2 hours, and we would love to try to help you with whatever it is that you're going through. So give us a call, 1-800-229-3000.
Nobody gets married thinking that they're going to get divorced, yet there are so many people that experience divorce. How do we get through it? It can feel like it's the end of your story, but we also know that life goes on. So how do we get the healing that we need?
The Moving Forward Hope After Divorce webinar is Thursday evening, October 16th.
The live session will offer recovery tips like how to process grief in a healthy biblical way, practical steps for emotional healing after divorce, how to set healthy boundaries. This session is for anyone who's separated, divorced, or still navigating the long-term impact of divorce. Maybe you've been divorced for many years and you're still holding on to that resentment.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
It's not information, it's an invitation to heal, to hope, to rebuild, to trust that God has more for your story.
Start your new chapter today. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-639-5433. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And back to Janelle, who called in from Toledo, Ohio. What would you guys say to Janelle? We've heard her story. What would you offer?
Yeah, Janelle, I mean, I think you did the right thing. Obviously, it came at a cost of the relationship, sadly. Mm-hmm. It sounds like your niece felt a lot of pressure to maybe even keep the family together if her mom was denying it. And so that's a lot of pressure for a young girl at 13 years old. And now she's 18. So yes, she's an adult, but she's still a teenager. Mm. And she's still got a lot of neurodevelopment to do before her brain fully matures, maybe another 7 or 8 years time. And so what I would say to you is I think this probably is going to come back around for her as her life develops, as she gets out from maybe living and needing support of both of her parents, and she becomes more independent. And as she gets into romantic relationships, I'm so sure this wound is going to come back again. And I think the best thing that you can do is just kind of remain as present as you can for her. Keep reaching out intermittently, and just see if you can broach the subject with her. I wouldn't push it too much, but if she knows that you're there and you're safe, and especially if you're the only person who knows about it, when the issue comes up for her again, if you could potentially be the person who she goes to. And, mm-hmm. and I think another option could be, if you do broach it with her, is maybe even offer to pay, if you have the resources, pay for her to go see a therapist.
Mm. Jill, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, Janelle, I want to also commend you for recognizing that something was wrong, for being an aunt that cared enough. I hear so many stories, where the person, like, their body is screaming what's going on, and teachers and family members completely ignore it. And so I'm grateful that you didn't ignore it, and that you put what was right and her well-being over whether she was going to be mad at you or not. And I'm so sorry that, everything Mark said, that she, needed to, protect her mom and protect the family. And I do agree that sometime down the road, she will come back around to you. And I don't know what your relationship is like with your brother now. And so there's a loss for you here. Sometimes doing the right thing means we lose out. And so I'm, there's a lot of grief there for you. I think that I would just try to have any kind of contact or relationship that you can, and not necessarily about the topic, kind of reconnecting in any way that you can. And then, as maybe that connection starts to blossom more, then there might be some things that open up about it later. But you are the keeper of her story right now, and that's an important role.
Yeah. Is that helpful, Janelle?
Janelle, you there?
Go ahead.
I said, is that helpful?
Yeah, it is. The thing, a big thing is that I am not the only one who knew.
Okay.
A family member who is a pastor knew, and they actually, both of them knew and did not say anything. So my niece kind of runs to her, like she's her guardian angel. But it's, that's kind of hurtful too, because instead of doing the right thing, because, as a minister, you're morally obligated to report this. And
you're a mandated reporter.
Well, that is hurtful, but you know what? She'll realize that in the future. As she gets older, maybe it could even be when she has kids, she will start to realize that, hey, these folks, I thought they were safe because they kept my secret, but they should have said something, and they didn't. And she'll realize that was a betrayal for her. So just stay close as you can and stay consistent.
Yeah. You are really her protector.
Yeah. And I think that maybe possibly doing life with your adult children by Jim Burns.
Dr. Jim Burns, yes. Thank you, Janelle, for calling in today. We'll send you a copy of that book from the newlife.com store. And you know what? Our Intimacy in Marriage workshop is less than 2 weeks away. If you think your marriage is beyond hope, it's not. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what this attendee said. I am a Marine veteran who comes from a broken home, an abused childhood. I've been a believer for 5 years and have been married for 4 years. We have an 18-month-old and a baby on the way. My marriage was on its last leg with no hope and no direction. I had never heard of New Life, and when my wife told me about this workshop, I signed us up. We made it to the workshop with no context and zero expectations. Not low expectations, zero. None. But, says our attendee, it was life-changing. I fully believe God directed us to attend. It was like I was drowning and was just rescued. A wave of insecurities and fear was washed away. I finally have been given clarity and guidance and shown hope, love, and support. I was finally shown and taught how to be a husband. This was the best weekend of my adult life. Our small group leader was a gift from God. She was truly for us. She broke everything down so that I could understand my wife. Finally, my wife and I are speaking the same language. It is possible for husbands and wives to speak the same language. Did you hear that? When I attended, I was filled with doubt and inches away from a divorce. I want to be a better husband, a better father, and I want to change my family tree. I want to be more like Christ and give my family a life worth living. Thank you for saving my life. Wow. It's why we do these intensives throughout the year. Join us for the weekend of October 17th in Dallas. You can get all the details at newlife.com. or by calling us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We're going to take a break here on New Life Live, and we'll be back with more of the phone calls, more of the questions that you have for us today. So give us a call. We'll be in the studio for 2 hours. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call.
I became aware that my husband had had an affair. He was viewing porn on the computer. I was totally unaware of anything like sex addiction. Through the workshop, I truly believe my soul has been restored. The workshop educated me about what sex addiction was. It also gave me courage. I learned how to stand up for myself. Without a doubt, it was the most significant thing that I did.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
That workshop is where I found the tools and the people to heal from this most heartbreaking thing of my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We love hearing from our listeners that they give to this ministry because we're making a difference in their lives. Here's what one donor said: I'm able to apply the valuable insights from decades of listening to New Life Live to help others, including helping my brother through his wife's affair. I feel just like the man who shared on your show that he donates because he feels like he's hiding behind the counselor's couch and learning so much, but not paying for it. You all and the Lord have changed my life, and thus I'm able to help others change theirs. Thank you, Kat, for sharing this note. And for others who feel the same, like you're benefiting from all this free advice, it's easy to support us. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, give online at newlife.com, or give with your thumbs by texting NLM to 28950. And if you have a question for us on the radio show today, call in. We're going to be here for 2 hours. And now we're going to go to Goldie in Philadelphia, listening on WFIL. Welcome, Goldie, to New Life Live.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm calling in today because my mother and I, ever since I was a teenager, I saw a change in her. And I had two siblings that was on drugs. My sister passed away a couple of years ago. And my mother always created lies on me, telling people if I broke things in her house, telling people, or if I leave her house, she says, did you happen to see my jewelry box, or did you happen to see anything, my shirt? It was always something that she would call me and me only, and I'm not the only one in her home, and I have never taken anything from her in my life or anyone. Oh, shucks. And so I just don't understand why she creates lies on me.
Now, are you sure she never questioned your sister about these missing items?
I'm positive. I'm just one of her children. I'm like the oddball in the family. I look totally different from everybody. People would say, if I knew I didn't see your mother pregnant, I knew I would think that you were adopted. Because she treats them all like very just awesome. She gives them cars. She takes care of them financially, and she knows I'm struggling a little bit because of my health problem. She'll tell me, "Oh, you'll make it."
And are you the older
That's all
sibling or
she-
the
Yeah,
younger
where are
sibling?
you in the
No,
lineup?
I'm right in the middle. I'm
Okay.
the middle.
Middle of how many?
sibling. 6.
6, okay.
And are you the only girl, 𝘠𝘬?
I'm sorry?
Are you the only girl?
Oh, no.
No.
It was 4 of us.
4 girls
Now my
and 2
sister
boys?
passed away, so now it's 3, yes.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that you're confused at how your mom treated you. You started to notice this from your early teens, that she would start to accuse you, but she wasn't asking your other siblings, and your other siblings were on drugs. But were you the good kid?
But never caused her no problems whatsoever. She never had to really do for me because I never asked for anything. Whatever she gave me, I'd taken it. If she'd go out there and buy them things, I would never ask to say, "Buy me this." I would just take what she gave me.
So you were the safe and easy kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that affect you as you got into adulthood?
I said to myself, well, why did she never go buy me more things so she put the rest of them? So I just ended up getting a job and praying and asked God, what should I do? Should I go to college? Should I do this? I went to college. I stopped at my senior year because my sister was on drugs and my mom kept calling me up on campus. And I thought if I don't go home on the weekend and help her try and talk to my sister, so she can help get off drugs, I'm thinking, it was like frustrating because why are you bothering me? You have other siblings. My other siblings are around you. Why won't you call them or take them, with you with her? She was always calling me. Everything was always put on me.
Okay.
And then she told people I'm jealous of her. At 43 years old, my mother is 70-something, and she's telling everybody I'm jealous of her.
And so what's your question for us today, 𝘠𝘬?
So I'm trying to reconcile. I'm trying to build a better relationship with her, but every time I try, that's like she won't let me.
𝘠𝘬, this may sound odd, but with what you've described, could it have been possible for either of your parents to have had an affair? Are you 100%? Are you 100% sure of your parentage?
The way I look, I'm like, well, who did I come from? Who has blue eyes? Who has sandy brown hair? Who's like light brown? Like,
I mean, there are people in families that are just an anomaly of the genes. So it's not 100%, but just the way you're describing and then your mother's treatment, I'm wondering if there's just some secret resentment that your mom has.
That's what I'm kind of thinking too, because they all look like my dad.
And you don't.
Alike.
Did you?
No.
And how did your dad treat you, 𝘠𝘬? Did he treat you the same?
Like a diamond. He treated that man. May the rest in peace. That man treated me so well. I wouldn't even think twice that he wasn't. So it's never nothing different. He was such an amazing guy. He was a Navy SEAL.
I wonder if your mom was jealous of you, actually.
That's a great insight.
That's what people keep telling me.
Right? You were the different one, and your dad treated you really well.
But now your mom. But now you're saying that your mom is jealous of you.
No. She accuses her of being jealous.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That really could be a projection of through the years. You were the good one. You were the one that helped her. You were the one that looked different. You were the one that your dad treated really well. It's just a thought.
That's a great insight, I think, that Jill's given you here. I think it's really confusing for a kid when they get rejected by a parent. One, kids shouldn't be rejected by a parent, but also when there's seemingly no reason that you're being blamed for things. And, children, we just have this innate need to be loved by a parent, even when we know that they have addictions, even when we know that they have mental health conditions. We still just have this thing inside us that screams out, why don't you love me? Why don't you love me? Because you're the person who should love me. You brought me into this world. You're my parent, the person who I rely on, and you're not loving me. And that follows us into adulthood. And even now, I think you said your mom's 77, so obviously you're probably up there in your 50s or so, and you're still craving that affirmation from your mom that she clearly cannot give you. And so there's going to be a type of grief in this for you, 𝘠𝘬, accept that you might not get this from your mom, and you grieve that relationship. But as you also learn to look at that, it's actually not me, it's her.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing a therapist at all?
Yes, and she said hurtful things to me. She says, your voice get on my nerves. Your voice, I can't stand your voice. Your voice get on my effing nerves.
Are you seeing a therapist, 𝘠𝘠?
I used to see one.
Okay.
I was seeing one, yes.
I think it'd be a really good idea for you to get back into therapy and just to start to talk through this stuff, your experiences that you had, and just to be able to have that attuned attachment figure in a therapist to be able to empathize with what that little 𝘠𝘠 went through, and just to say, you didn't deserve that, and I'm so sorry that happened to you, and then to help you understand how that's impacted you, and you're carrying those wounds and those beliefs into adulthood.
Right?
Exactly.
You're still looking for the answer.
But it sounds like you're not going to get it, sadly. And so if you keep expecting something that you're not going to get, it's just a re-wounding that continues to occur for you.
So making sense of your story, 𝘠𝘠, even if you don't like your story, still we want to make sense of it, right? And that helps us to then live with it and to move on and have some acceptance.
I think we'll send you the Life Recovery Workbook for Grief from the newlife.com store just for calling in today, 𝘠𝘠. And 𝘠𝘠 might think, well, why should I grieve this loss? I'm still holding out hope that one day we will reconcile. But you're saying that, she might.
Well, hope in itself is not a bad thing, but when we wish for something that current evidence shows that is highly unlikely to happen, what happens is we start to idealize and we live outside of reality, and then that sets us up for this deep sense of disappointment. So what we're saying to 𝘠𝘠 is not to give up hope, but just to kind of integrate a little bit and to help her get to a point of acceptance, because there's things in life that we just have to accept, and we can accept things that we don't like, but it allows us to heal when we get to acceptance and be able to move on.
Yeah. Joel? I thought you had a thought.
No, I was just shaking my head in total agreement with Mark over that. Yeah. It's a journey. And she maybe has grief also from her dad, but also this unresolved grief with mom. And seeing mom realistically will really help her.
And if anything, she does the work just in case nothing happens, just in case they don't reconcile. But if they do, great. And she's off.
Learning the limitations of the relationship, what she can count on and what she cannot count on.
Okay.
And we want to stop looking for what we can't count on.
And how to have boundaries when her mom says hurtful things. She doesn't have to be there when her mom is cursing at her. She can hold a boundary to that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to send you a copy of that book, 𝘠𝘠. Also, we've got a grief webinar coming up in just a few weeks or months. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but you can get all the details about it at newlife.com. Just use the search there and type in the word grief, GRIEF, because it's I before E, right? I think that's how it works.
Correct.
Yes. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get to more of your calls, and we're going to be in the studio for another hour today. Call in 1-800-229-3000.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
In case you didn't know, this week is Customer Service Week. Yes, so I want to take a minute to give a big thank you to the Ministry Service Representative team here at New Life. These are the caring people you talk to when you call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. They are passionate about listening to the hard things that you're facing and helping you connect with help. It's a dedicated group of employees who love seeing lives transformed through the help they connect with, and a couple on the team have held this role for over 15 years. At our workshops, attendees often ask, "Is so-and-so here? I just wanted to meet them in person and thank them for walking with me from my first call to actually being here." A great way to honor Customer Service Week is to make that call to 1-800-NEW-LIFE that you've been putting off. And again, thank you, MSRs, Ministry Service Representatives, for the excellent work you do for New Life. 1-800-229-3000. Let's go to David in Nashville, who listens to us on Spotify. Hey there, David. Thanks for calling in today.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to ask, so I'm a freshman in college, and I've been struggling finding like a sense of purpose and just having like episodes where I'm just like incredibly sad and don't know what to do, you know?
When did this start, David?
I would say like just when I first came to college, which was mid-August.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And David, are you close to home? Are you living away from home at school?
I'm away from home, but I'm relatively close to where I can go home every other weekend.
Okay.
Is this the first time that you've been away like this?
Yes.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're going through a very common experience, David, that freshmen have when they first live away from home. There's this adjustment period because it's really the first time that we're away from, I mean, not just our parents, but we're away from our family, from our community, from our friends, and we've got to essentially start again from the beginning. And so it can be lonely and disconnecting.
Well, and I remember, David, when I was a freshman in college, thinking, I'm here in this place. Nobody really knows me. Like there's not one person that I'm known to. And that was the strangest feeling.
Are you connected with anyone? Do you have a best friend or a friend on campus? Are you part of any groups, David?
Actually, my brother lives on campus, and that's been very helpful, meeting his friends and trying to branch off from that as well.
Yeah, and you're actually in that stage of life, you know, that Erik Erikson would say is identity versus role confusion, where we start to try and figure out who are we separate from our families of origin, separate from our parents, you know, and I'm hearing you even say, it's great that your brother's there, but you want to separate off and figure out, you know, how do I have my own friends? And so some of that is going to come with time, I think. Are you having some depression, though?
I would say yes.
Most colleges nowadays have counseling centers. They often offer it for low fee or free. They also have online options. And it can be really helpful when you're walking through this because even though it's common, it's not common to you. And you're going through this for the first time. I know with college kids that I have worked with, there are like stages of development as a college kid in terms of friend groups and things like that. In the beginning, you're just hanging out with anybody you can possibly hang out with, your roommates, the people closest to you, and you can change friend groups, especially the girls, but up to, you know, multiple times. And it's usually by the end of the first year that you start to feel at home. And then when you come back your second year, it's always surprising, I find, for people. They go, oh, I know people, and I feel more of a sense of belonging. So it's a slow transition. And about halfway through college, your college friends actually start to become more of a priority than your high school friends. And not that you let go of them, but you start to feel like, okay, I'm part of this world now for this time. But prior to, I mean, you're right in the beginning, David. And so feeling depressed, it isn't uncommon. But if it feels like it's more than you can handle, like is it hard for you to leave your dorm room? And maybe you could let me know. Is that hard for you?
Leaving the dorm room, no, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it depends. Sometimes I'll have like depending on like how I'm feeling in general but when I leave my dorm room, majority of the time I just have to because of class.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to not stay in my dorm room all day. I try to get out and try to do things that take my mind off of feeling alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's what we're encouraging you to do. Is it we're normalizing that you're at a stage where you're trying to find your community here, but it's getting involved in groups.
Yeah.
I think
joining activities.
Yeah, and it's okay if all the freshmen are figuring it out right now. So you can try out one group, and if it doesn't work out, you can try out another group, and see how that works. I mean, because you're not only trying to figure out your social circle, you're also figuring out, there's new pressures in terms of like, you got to get yourself to class, you got to show up. It's all about you making all the choices about which classes that you pick too. So that's a lot of pressure too.
Absolutely.
So you're also having that adjustment as well as this social adjustment right now too. So what we're saying is that it's common to have this experience, but don't just think that it's just going to go away by itself. I think there will be a part of that where as you keep going, it will become normal. But if it feels too hard, then seek some help.
Right. If you find yourself not functioning at your normal level of functioning, then that starts to become more serious, or you start to become really avoidant. And I wonder, David, have you ever experienced depression before, earlier in life?
I have around middle school, actually.
Oh, okay. And so sometimes if you've had it before, there can be a fear of it.
And was that a similar experience? Was it when you started in middle school?
I feel it wasn't. I think it was right around the beginning of middle school.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it feels different from how I felt in middle school.
Yeah. Okay. Well, of course, and you're different, but the brain works by association. Yeah. Okay, and so what happens is that part of your brain, the amygdala, flags like, oh, this is similar to what happened before, where we had to kind of figure out our social circle, or we felt down and depressed when we were trying out something new. So, this might be happening to us again, and so it just floods us with similar thoughts and similar feelings. But take heart. It typically, this adjustment period adjusts at the end, and it starts to become a new normal for you.
And you're doing some of the right things. I mean, you even reached out and called us.
Yeah. Yes.
So reaching out, and you're leaving your dorm room every day, and so taking those risks, and like you talked about activities, finding clubs and activities that you can join. And continue to force yourself to meet new people.
Yeah, get involved. I would say get involved in as much things as you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just another quick question for you, David. Did your brother go through the same thing when he started in college?
He did, actually.
Okay. So he might be a good person to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that you have him there. That's really good.
Yes, for sure.
And that you're close to home.
Yep.
That's really good too.
David, thanks for calling in today to New Life Live. Stay on the phone. We want to send you a copy of the book called Becoming an Adult from the newlife.com store. We think that'll benefit you. All right, we're going to take a break. That's the end of our first hour. We're going to be in the studio for another hour. If you're on hold right now, stay on hold. We'll get to you in just a little bit. And we're going to keep the phone lines open so everyone else can call in and talk to Dr. Jill Hubbard and Marc Cameron. The phone number is 1-800-229-3000. Thank you so much for listening today and for watching. watching as well. We'll talk to you next time here on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.